Hello, brothers and sisters. Peace of Jesus Christ be with you. I hope you are all doing well, and you spent a lovely weekend, lovely and blessed Sunday. God bless you all and keep you safe. Um, Welcome, Sister Dragona. Welcome, Brother Nicodemus. Welcome, brother. Yeah, welcome, Sister Dragona, as well. If you'd like to come up to pray, I put the link in the chat. Please come up with us. God bless you. And let's start the live stream with the small prayer. Welcome, brother. Nice background you put. It's really nice with the flag.
Yeah, that's the one thing I love about the Greek flag is the cross is focused on Christianity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw I was in a Greek what they call it a prayer today at church. So it was lovely prayer today. It was in a Greek Orthodox church. It was a really lovely mass. So it was lovely. Welcome, Sister Dragona. God bless you and keep you safe.
Peace of Christ, brothers. Good
Peace of
evening.
Jesus Christ be with you. Would you like to bless us with a short prayer, please?
I would like God bless each and everyone who is watching and who will watch later. God bless everyone who is supporting both of channels. God bless you both, brothers, and may the Lord always watch over you and your families. And
Thank
before
you.
I
Thank you,
move
sister.
forward, instead of prayer, I would like to read just a few lines for everyone. And this is Ephesians 3, start from verse 14, and the title is The Love of Christ. So I bow in prayer before the Father. Every family in heaven and on earth gets its true name from Him. I ask the Father with His great glory to give you the power to be strong in your spirit. He will give you that strength through His Spirit. I pray that Christ will live in your hearts because of your faith. I pray that your life will be strong in love and be built on love. And I pray that you and all God's holy people will have the power to understand the greatness of Christ's love, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep that love is. Christ's love is greater than anyone can ever know. But I pray that you will be able to know that love. Then you can be filled with everything God has for you. With God's power working in us, He can do much, much more than anything we can ask or think of. To Him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus for all time, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Are you okay, brothers?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know how to follow that. Thanks for the prayer. Uh, yeah, it's pretty.
God bless.
Yeah, pretty
That's
kind of
what
simple.
that was Paul prayer. So, but it's very
Oh,
powerful piece
but
of scripture.
Yes,
uh,
thank you very much. Amen. Amen. I was saying amen and to brother Nicodemus to start, but I forgot that I still on mute. I'm sorry for
Yeah,
that.
it was both muted. I know.
yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank
that
But
you.
God
so
bless
that's
you.
Saint Paul's prayer, like from Scripture.
Ephesians 3,
Wow.
start
Okay.
from verse 14 till 21.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that's a Paul prayer. Yep.
Very cool. I'll have to make a note of that. Maybe make it a meme or something.
Yeah. Ephesians 3, 14 to 21.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes.
brothers. I will be in chat.
Yes, thank you, sister.
So yeah, I don't know where to begin. We definitely had a weird week last week. So we did a show without you. And then, we had a very difficult and challenging week to follow that. Um, so then this week I've kind of already had a pretty big show planned, but I've also included some extra things to kind of review from last week that we didn't get to cover last week.
Sure.
Um, were you able to watch the movie Lamya's poem by any chance?
Ah, yes, I saw it, and but if you weren't able to send it to me, I wasn't able to say to watch it anywhere on Netflix or Disney or anything. I tried to find it everywhere, but I couldn't
Yeah,
find it. Yeah,
propaganda piece.
that's good to
So,
send it.
oh, so you got it. Okay, cool. All right.
Yes,
So I'm excited to hear what you have to say about that because, I wasn't raised in the Muslim culture around Muslims, and you definitely have more exposure to that than I do, and definitely learned more about it than I have. So there's a lot of things that, I mean, I caught some things I included in my presentation, but there's a lot of things that either won't be included or I included, but I don't realize what they are. So I'm definitely going to be leaning on you today to explain those things that I didn't catch.
yes.
But
About last week, I thought you have some problems, and you said you may not be doing live stream, and that's why I wasn't able to.
yeah,
I thought you are not there, so you were not able to do live stream, and that's why I didn't schedule it. I didn't go for it,
yeah,
and yeah, so I was somewhere. I couldn't be looking to into my internet all the time. So that's the whole idea.
all right, fine.
Yeah.
Limited all the time. All right. Yeah. So I mean, I did send the Christian apologist the same messages that I've sent you, and we did the stream one day before, so he got his messages. But that's all right. I mean, again, I'm a big believer in all's well that ends well, but the reaction after was a bit strange, I thought. But yeah, I mean, I guess you didn't like the fact that I did the stream without you.
Uh, it was lovely that you did it though.
I guess. I mean, I was really disoriented. Like I said, I didn't get any messages from you. I was literally worried. I thought, I
Yeah.
mean, one person thought you were ill. I thought the Muslims got you. I mean, you know, I didn't know what to think. So it was it
They
was it
will
was
they
it
will
was a
get
challenge.
something else from me though.
Yeah, I hear you.
They won't be happy. They won't be
I think a lot of us feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome everybody. Welcome Una. Welcome our brother. What's his name? Amir. Omar. Forgot his name. I keep forgetting his name. This poor guy. I'm sorry for you, my friend. Every time your name goes out of my mind. Anyway, welcome everybody. Yeah, please, brother Nicodemus, please start your presentation
Okay.
for from last week. From last week, you said.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to cover a couple of notes from last week, but really, I mean, before, did I get the wrong one?
Said, welcome, brother Said. I'm sorry for that, Said. I keep forgetting your name. I'm very sorry. I have a memory,
Hold on. One second.
with names, especially with names. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Okay, before I begin, well, actually, what did you think about Lamya's poem?
What is it?
Lamya's poem, the movie that.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's not a movie for. I don't advise anyone to watch it. It shouldn't be on any Netflix, any Disney, anywhere to be watched. Not even any movie, any television. It's a disaster movie. Shouldn't be it's made by Muslims, produced by Muslims, by associations of Muslims and Muslim associations of many Muslims associations put all their money in it, and then
Yeah,
the one who executed is what they call it, basically Christians, because Muslims they can't do anything but they paid for it. But the one who made it at the end is Christian, basically Christopher or something. However, is the disaster happened. It's by their money, they can buy anything. It's Pakistani and some others. So I think there were some Arab as well, like Lebanese or something, because I saw some cedar in the middle. So it could be Lebanese. As yeah, however, it's a disaster. It's a disaster, but I don't want to ruin anything out of your presentation. If you prepared something, I don't want to speak about ahead. uh, However, it's really bad. They are speaking about the what's happened in Syria, advocating for the airplanes coming. They changed the story about Syria. Airplanes coming and hitting Aleppo, while it was what they call it, ISIS hitting Aleppo. So it's a big nasty thing. It's wrong, big mistakes, and advocating for Quran and how what's the holy book, and what do they start the chapter with, which chapter is the revelation is. And she said, "Iqra, read." So she became Muhammad at the end.
Mm.
So she knew more than Muhammad. Muhammad didn't know how to read. She knew how to read. So
Okay.
anyway, we'll go for that later on while you are doing your presentation.
I forgot a slide. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, I didn't know most of that. Cool. All right, so sorry, yeah.
Go ahead. No, nothing.
All right. So let me first take a look at some censorship issues. Like I know you guys, some of you might feel like you're kind of sick of hearing about censorship, but those of us that are suffering from it, that are making a point to dedicate our lives, put our livelihoods. I for one, and I know I'm not alone, in literally putting my livelihood, investing my livelihood into doing what I'm doing to share these messages to help people, because I feel like I've been put in, and as vain as it sounds, I feel like I've been put in special places, situations for the past couple of decades, and I've learned a lot from those experiences. It's a broad range. It's a special skill set, let's say, special uh, circumstances historically and all that. So I feel like I've got to share that information, this wisdom that I've gained from those experiences, for those blessings. I'll look at it that way. And so when we are combating this socialist media censorship that prohibits us from speaking truths, from speaking facts, number one, but number two, also sharing things, enlightening people, that is designed to help them, right? To help keep them away from danger, to better their lives, these kinds of things. When they're inhibiting that, then they are responsible. They are guilty of, well, the bad things that we're warning about. Um, so, yeah, I'm not going to read for that reason what my heading is here, but you guys can see it clearly. Um, so the little image on the right, I don't have it divided very well, but the little image on the right shows you. Today, I got hit for hate speech, which I hear a lot of the creators complaining about. And again, there was nothing hateful about what I said, just factual. Uh, so, and that was in the comment section of my
It's
own
natural,
video.
brother. It's natural, brother. As long as you speak against Islam, you will be hit by that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but this is not okay, and I'm sharing this again, and I'm calling to all the content creators. Forgive me. Let me just call it what it is, especially the shills, the ones that are just doing this for numbers and stuff, and that becomes evident. But everyone else, especially those that are doing this, let's say for the right reasons, everyone needs to get together and hold these people accountable. What they're doing is illegal, especially since they're based out of the United States of America. And so they're civilly liable for what they're doing. But they're also, because, they're calling us this, that, and the other in the process. So they're slandering us. But they're also a detriment to society. They're a danger. They're a real threat. They're not only inhibiting things that are helpful to society and thereby promoting things that are harmful to society. But in the process, they're controlling the narrative and they're pushing a propaganda that is detrimental. And therefore, they're guilty of the very same thing that they claim that they're trying to stop. And this needs to end. It's up to us to get together and stop being scared. Stop being, excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen, stop being pussies. And, put these people in their place. Otherwise, as long as we continue to conform to their vileness, they will be continued to empower and get away with what we're doing. It's that simple. We're guilty. We're contributors to what they're doing by conforming to their fascism. So, yeah. And to that end, let me just share. I did a piece with Christian apologist yesterday. So that was really interesting. We actually had Paul Sutliff join us, and that was a whole other debacle. I'm having all these doing all these rookie mistakes. What do they call it? Amateur hour. Yeah, it was really bad yesterday. But anyway, we got through it. And yeah, one of the things that we talked about was, and one of our focuses was the shooting, the Lakewood Church shooting. There's some controversy about the identity of the woman, but it's evident. I did find this article and the response about whether or not she's Muslim. And of course, it's NBC, so it's quote unquote vetted. But look at the spin. Their focus after this massacre by a Muslim woman who used her own child as a human shield. And again, there's video footage of this, so there should be no argument. You boob, which completely blows up the Taoist narrative that that's not a real thing, because we have video of it, and I have own video again in the description of that video, of that stream yesterday, of a let's call it a full feature work that I did, edited work, a documentary, if you will. It's about an hour and a half long. It's called Why Hollywood Supports Islam. So I encourage you to check that out. In the first section of that, I think it's like maybe up a 15-minute marker, give or take, you yet again see people in this historical mass migration in Europe. They're dragging children in the front lines of a skirmish that they're initiating with Border Patrol, just so they can get their little snapshots, propaganda pieces. And the women are charging headstrong in the front lines too. Again, just so they can, I mean, again, all this rhetoric about how Muslim women are victims and all that. I mean, whatever. But the reality is, they're just as evil, if not even more, than the men. Let's get real about that. And that is shown not only in the videos that we covered yesterday in my stream, but also in the videos that I'm talking about in this documentary, where the women are dragging their children. The children are crying, trying to run away from their mothers because they're dragging them right into police tear gassing. For what? Peaceful my anus. So yeah, their spin, NBC, to cover this kind of thing, which blows that rhetoric up, that propaganda up, is to say, oh, look, the church had anti-Semitic writings, and very vague, and that's how they leave it. So all of a sudden, it's the Christians' fault, of course. Well, let me see who wrote this article. By Tom Winter. You can go either way with the ending of that name. Winter. Okay, maybe Hebrew, maybe not. Andrew Blankstein. Hell yeah. Donna Mendo. Oh fuck yeah. Definitely Jew. So these Jews are saying it's the Christians' fault. These victims of Islamic terrorism that got shot up by a crazy woman using her child as a human shield are trying to blame Christians. How about that shit? And you'll excuse my French today, but I'm a little lit. All right, so, and now they finally identify her as a woman, by the way. I don't know, it took like a couple of weeks for me to find any kind of identity markers for this perk. So finally, after about a week or so, they started at least saying she was a woman. I'm carrying an assault rifle. Okay, I listened to the gunfire. It was semi-automatic, but still a problem. But, you can say, thank God it was only a semi-automatic. It could have been much worse, the damage that she did. Probably an AR-15, by the way, which is technically a semi-automatic. Anyway, I shot one myself during all that buzz while they're pushing the AR-15s, and that was all that years ago was in my mind an advertisement propaganda mechanism to sell weapons to people. But anyway, I'm going off on tangents here. Okay. Was carrying an assault rifle with the word Palestine written on it. Okay. So at least they're honest about that much. I mean, all right. So I'm moving on. But yeah, it's just insane. People, I'm talking to everyone. I'm not going to drop names. Everyone in these circles that really care about this need to get together and stop these socialist media sites from censoring us. I mean, that's enough. All right. So reflecting on some of the stuff that we talked about last week, which I think is extremely important. Again, the growing BRICS agenda. We talked about what BRICS is, and it is growing. Nations are joining it all the time. They're detrimental for sure. They include all the pagans. What a coincidence there, and the commies. How about that? And yeah, I mean, they're controlling evidently mass media. They're at least influencing it, if not controlling it, in the 21st century. That is. Yeah. So we talked about movies from the 80s that were pushing abortion and premarital sex and all these things, and drug abuse and yada yada. You could say that's normal. It's not. It's there's dysfunction, but they sensationalize that, including pedoism. We talked about a very popular movie, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and how the one character is telling the other 15-year-old character, teaching her about sodomy, oral sex, and how to do it, and how, it's a problem that she's still a virgin at 15, and at 13 she lost hers, and blah, blah, blah. This kind of rhetoric was quite common in movies around that time, give or take, and definitely throughout. We also revealed, and I'm not sure if I expressed it. Again, last week I was a bit frazzled, so my communication skills were off. I wasn't expressing myself properly. A little different today. I'm on fire, so. But yeah, I mentioned the dolls, the real dolls. So those of you that don't know, these real dolls are sex dolls. I didn't mention that last week. I didn't mention the word sex, but these are sex dolls. Again, these are dolls that are evidently being created in Asian countries, and I'm saying that because of their facial features. They're anime looking, of little children. It's bad enough that they have these real dolls with adults, and then the blow-up dolls before that, the balloon dolls. Having sex with plastic devices, and it's just insane. But children, what's that about, and why is that allowed? And as I said, under federal law, that's a federal crime, shipping this stuff. There's no way under any reason that this should still be allowed, should still be going on, or these factories, entire factories being built to produce these things and ship them out, should still exist. I mean, if they're being shipped, we know where they're located. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Why are they still in production? All right. We also talked about Israeli movie. I talked about whether or not I'm with Palestine or with the Jews. I'm with Christ. I'm with neither. I'm with no anti-Christian. I'm with Christ. I'll make that clear. All right. The Jews do not like you. Just as much as the Muslims don't like you, the Jews don't like you either. The Jews see you as goy, the Muslims see you as kafir, same difference. And there's a reason they've been warring with each other for centuries upon centuries upon centuries. Because they're anti-Christian. They believe in revenge. And so it won't end until they kill each other off, evidently. I don't want anything to do with that. I wash my hands of that heinous stuff. So I talked about Canon Films. These were Israelis that came to America. They started their own movie production company called Canon Films. It's since got bought up by someone else. But they went for decades. They changed the way movies were made. I talked about that. I talked about how they were the ones that started fundraising for movies before they were even made. So they're basically getting investors to invest in movies that weren't even an actual thing. And if they didn't make the movie, too bad for the investors. If there was a flop, too bad for the investors. And that, of course, became a trend in Hollywood. They're the ones that started that. They created a movie called Lemon Popsicle in Israel, and they did an American version called The Last American Virgin. And in this movie, we can see in the top right here how, excuse me, I can't find my marker. Again, the settings have been changed this week. Thanks, Amir. So I don't have. Here we go. I found it. Okay, so the top right. Um, so as I said last week, and this is significant. And Amir, maybe you could speak to this. Maybe you can reinforce this. All right, so this is an Israeli. He's bringing a bag of oranges, a bag of fruit, to someone who just had an abortion, who he had a love triangle with. And also, he's bringing a Christmas tree. Again, I can't emphasize enough how disgusting and blasphemous that is. A Christmas tree to a woman or a little girl, actually, a teenager, who just had an abortion that he paid for, and fruit, which is a housewarming gift. Any chance? I mean, I was told people that were in part of the production of the movie talked about how this fruit thing was lost in translation. Did you want to speak on that, Amir, or is that a little beyond your scope?
No, it's okay. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next stuff. This is pretty much the end of the review. Now
The only thing is this women or ladies, whatever you are putting in front of you, they are
on top.
Yeah, wearing like Playboy girls.
Yeah. These are dolls. These are dolls. They're not real women.
Really?
Yeah, they're sex dolls, Amir. They're like blow-up dolls. They're sex dolls. They're things, and they're dolls of little children, of teenagers and little children, as you can see.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
You can recognize them as dolls. You can see that they're actual thing. And the second thing you were saying about the Jews, Jews as hateful and antichrist for Christians and thing as Muslims. That to let everybody knows. Because in Israel they go and spit on nuns and on priests, and they go and they are really antichrist until they meet the Lord Jesus Christ, and then they become real good Christians. But otherwise, they are antichrist.
Thank you for sharing that. And this is exactly. I mean, I'm sorry I sound like a mustache man to some people. I didn't always sound like this, but after years of research in the movie industry, I had to stop at least lying to myself. And now that I keep investing myself into this research, it's hard for it not to affect me emotionally, even spiritually. I am angry, but I feel it's a righteous anger. We're gonna go ahead.
Yeah, bear in mind that those it doesn't matter. It doesn't. But anyway, it's those Jews in there in Israel or something. They will accept Muslims more than they accept the Christians. They will accept Muslims, and like Toriva the singer, let's say.
Right.
They will accept Muslims and they advocate for Muhammad, although he's anti-Jews and they call for killing Jews. But they won't accept Jesus, because Jews, they follow more Jesus. They accept him in their life. They go to be more Christians. They are afraid about their kids to become, or their people to become Christians. So that's why they are afraid. That's why they are antichrists. Sorry. I keep going to the same thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, and that another example of that is the Holy Sepulchre. How I mean, it's bad enough about Constantinople, and how the Jews got Israel, but the Greeks were not giving back Constantinople, or the Strait, which gave Russia power of the Strait, the Muslims power of the Strait, the Muslims power over a very fundamental Christian faith. So, yeah, on top of that, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. This is a place where every year there is a miraculous fire. That also is in my video. Believe it if you want, that's on you, whatever, that's between you and God. But the thing is, it's a very sacred place, and people visit it every year for this event during Pascha, during Easter. That control is given to Muslims over that sacred Christian place. Why? All right. So Roman Polanski, one of you guys encouraged me last week to look up current events of this guy. He's on the lam. He's running away from the law. He's been accused of all kinds of pedophilic sexual abuse. why is he hiding if he's not guilty? But whoever shared that with me to look it up, please, again, I can't remember who you are. Please give yourself some credit. I greatly appreciate it. Blame it on Rio. Going back to the whole BRICS discussion. And let me also point out the statue of Jesus on the hill there in Rio, in Brazil. Or is that Sao Paulo? Honestly, I don't know. Is that Brazil? I think it's Rio, isn't it? Anyone know?
It's Rio de Janeiro.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So, I mean, you see that in all the movies, and I think it's disgusting how the movies portray it, especially how they love to show Jesus turning his back to the poor people. I mean, it's the exact opposite of what Christianity is about. I don't think I think the statue was put up there by a pagan society as blasphemy. I could be wrong, but certainly Hollywood portrays it in a way that's blasphemous. And yeah, so Blame It on Rio, again, that's another movie that was pedophilic. It's about two friends who go to Rio on holiday with their teenage daughters, and one of the friends has an affair with the other friend's daughter. Okay. And of course, we see all this is going, all this, LBG, whatever, and all the, destroying families and take control of children, and this pedo conditioning, grooming for both children and adults, and all this stuff, all, the Christian bashing, the pro-paganism across the board. I mean, it all leads to Baal/Baphomet worship, doesn't it? And again, on the bottom right, this is from Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. We talked about what that movie's about. It was horrendous. It was arguably more cleaner than Cuties, which was really soft porn, soft child porn. But this one, yeah, the Dear God, It's Me, Margaret, it was blasphemous, emasculating. We'll talk about it more today, actually. I included some slides, which wasn't originally going to do, but I decided to do. All right, so let's get to LAMYAS' poem. As you talked about, Amir, it was the Unity Production Foundation that funded this production, this movie. Obviously, it's a propaganda piece. If you watch it, it's going to be torturous for you. It's not going to be torturous in the way that Cuties and the other stuff is, but certainly just like so stupid, so full of dawa that is like, it's just so bad. It's just horrible. But also it's psychedelic. So for that reason as well, I couldn't quite get it. I think they did it that way just so they could piecemeal the propaganda and not really have a real story. I could be wrong, but it was just really bad all around, in my opinion. But of course, it won a bunch of awards. All right, so at the 3-minute marker, we see some kind of weird psychedelic thing about these snakes. Now, that part I couldn't quite get. But she's basically, surrounded by fireflies, and these fireflies become a dragon.
Can I,
Yeah, please.
before you go there, can we share how many families and Muslim association they shared? They paid. They put their money in it. Do you have the
No.
thing?
No idea.
No. Okay. Let me share my screen too,
Okay. All right.
and I will keep yours. We can share
Oops.
both. We can. It's fine. It's fine. 1 minute, and I will be. Because it will take. I'm gonna share the same video you sent me, but I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna. Okay. Just show the beginning. Yeah.
Mhm.
So immediately after saying whose names, immediately you will see immediately that the starring Miley Davis, whatever, Farhan Tahir, name immediately Aya something, and then go back.
A list of producers. Okay. Yeah.
We missed, it is Muhammad and Balqis and Balqis. You remember Balqis from the Quran, the queen of Sheba, Balqis Abbasi.
Hmm.
Tahsin and Zubina. This is by its own. It's a swearing that we should be censored for it. Her name is a censoring thing because Zubina is mean our own private part. Uh, you know, in Arabic, zub it's mean dick.
Nice.
Zubina is our dick.
That's
So
probably on purpose. I could be wrong.
yeah, Tahsin and Zubina Dahya, Musa and Khalida Dakri, Aziz Tony. This is he changed his name. Maybe he's in the west. He lives in the west. Dibara, whatever it is. Tariq, Asma, Farid, Uzma. I hope it's not Uzma, the one we know. And Arshid Javed. Now we go to the second list. Here it is. Abdul Alim and Sophia. What's that? Khandekar. Sayyid, your name is here. Razia Malik. Muhammad Muna Nasri. Arshad Mumtaz, that's mean excellent. Zareen Arshad, another Arshad. Frida and Muhammad Shamma. Shamma, it's mean to smell, to sniff.
Okay.
Shahid is mean Marta. Shista Usmani, like Usmani. All right, we'll go a little bit further. You don't have to go a lot. They are all the Islamic family. You know,
So are these real names or what? Are they made up names?
they are the people who paid for the movie,
So the real names, okay.
producers.
Wow. Okay. I thought I had a bad last name, but all right.
Yeah, and then you'll go to the second one in the thing. Executive producer is Suhail Masood and Muna Masood. They are all with their wives, and they are all association. And these association, because they don't like to pay tax in the West, they make association to steal. Where they will invest with this stealing from those foundation and association in this kind of movies and in terrorism. You see, this is how
Wow.
it is. This is how it is. So
Okay. So terrorism and propaganda. I see.
exactly. Now we go further. We go further a little bit. Come on. I'm trying to move it. I don't want to play it, so I'm trying to move it bit by bit. All right. Come on, man.
Excuse me.
I don't know. No worries. The only thing, it's not changing. The image is not changing.
Very good.
Very good.
Perfect. That's the thing that that's the thing Muslims say all the time when they get busted or something, and these people, when they get in these forums and they like to argue, debate, you always hear them go, perfect. And they start throwing their BS, their dawa, their tequila.
Now this is the thing flying. Our brother was speaking about it, Nicodemus. It's some type of cockroaches that's a fly, and its ass start glowing. Yeah, you can find it on some flowers, red flowers sometimes, and it fly during the night, and it make this kind of light. They call it, I don't know what you called it earlier on in English. I don't know, light fly or something, whatever it she called it. Do you know what they call it?
Dragonfly in America. I'm not sure otherwise.
All right, dragonfly is good for us. Let them to know. Anyway, so she kept going.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Not firefly, not dragonfly.
Firefly. All right, and she kept running in her dreams to catch one of them. Yeah. Okay. Go back to your.
Is there significance to that, to the serpent in the story, and the fireflies, or
the serpent is only about a devil, and they put Mongol as a devil, and so they put the serpent with it. You know,
Mm.
while Islam was more serpent than the
Yes, for
Mongol.
sure.
Yeah, Islam spread more than in the serpent way, in a devilish way in the whole world, reaching to France and they took Spain. They called it Al Andalus. So the what they call it, Jerusalem, it became Al Qudus. So imagine that they are taking countries and they are making it their own. The bottom they became their own Palestine. It's not their own country, but they make it their own Palestine.
Mhm.
But who are you to claim it? Anyway, so yeah, keep going, and I will say stuff during. I will add your
Okay.
thing. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, and so that makes sense too, though. Clarifies it for me as far as the dragon and all that. So now I get it. I mean, because they have this parallel in this movie, just so you guys can understand, because it'll probably look choppy to you too. But what they were doing was they had these parallel stories of this main character, Lamia, and this poet who's supposed to be, um, I don't know, some centuries old poet Rumi. And
Okay,
so, yeah, go ahead.
to speak about him, he is like Muslims. They don't count him as a Muslim because he used to be a Sufi,
Ah,
and they are making the movie about him because he came from that section of the world, and they
mhm.
are trying to make out of him a hero and make poem and stuff like that, while he have a certain type of blood, like he used to speak like different type of language. He came, let's say, from Pakistan section,
Yeah,
and he was speaking Farsi, and he was writing most of his poems in Farsi thing,
I see.
and he's enough. They don't count him as a Muslim because he is a Farsi, what they call it, Sufi. They don't count him as a Muslim, and I will share with you later on uh, some proof about that, including from Islam question and answer, and some other proof that he is not even a Muslim for them. So
Okay.
they just want to make things.
So that yeah, all right. That explains the psychedelic magical stuff that's going on in this movie too. It's got a Sufi influence. That makes sense now.
Yes, Farsi is not Afghani dialect, I know that, but because he was speaking in Farsi, I know it is from Iran. I know that, but because he made his books in that language, he was doing that, and he made fewer in Arabic. You
Hmm.
know, that's the whole idea. He been educated there.
Okay. All right. All right. So at the 4 minute marker, we see even in this movie this need to undermine parents. You know, again, also anti-Christian. You know, it's Judeo-Christian, in fact, going all the way to the Ten Commandments to honor your mother and father. You see the daughter pushing her mother off. You know, it's like, Mom, it's okay. You know, get off me, because her mother's overly concerned about her. Can't remember exactly what it was, but so yeah, it's just a small thing. It might seem like, but it definitely stood out, especially in this context. And again, as we're saying, it's very common in Hollywood and mass media. Um, so another thing that they're doing, and a lot of movies do lately, is push this internet, this mobile cellular device as being part of the culture. Now you can say that's art imitating life, fine, but as adults, and we know about ad placement in movies and all that, and how, for example, the Hebrews, Hollywood Hebrews, were constantly promoting each other in their TV and their movies and all that. Um, yeah, you've got to at least acknowledge that there's a possibility that these movies are now pushing cell phones, like as we saw, for example, in the lockdown of 2020, how everyone shifted to the internet life, and all of a sudden, all these agencies were forcing us to have cell phones, and you have to have the code on your cell phone and all that. You have to, for example, in Europe, European nations, you had to have proof of with your cell phone on you where you were if you went outside your home. All that kind of nonsense. Um, yeah. So at the 4 minute marker, she tells her daughter, "No texting while he's here." She's got some kind of teacher coming to their home. Um, But so the rest of the time, in other words, this is saying, well, the rest of the time the cell phone's okay. Uh, kind of, yeah, subliminal, a kind of covert way of promoting it. At the 5 minute marker, this private tutor who's teaching her about Rumi and Islam, and this is a bit creepy in my mind. He mentions Aleppo. He says, God willing, the schools in Aleppo will be open soon. So yeah, as you talked about Aleppo before, uh, that being a political message that they're trying to push here. Also, kind of covert in my mind. Whenever I see stars, I kind of wonder about that. Recently, there's all this talk about aliens and those being real. I don't think it's coincidence. I would say that the idea that God is an alien is being pushed, and that's been around media for decades in different forms. So that's something I keep an eye out for. And even so, in this Islamic piece, this Islamic propaganda piece, we're seeing hints of those kinds of things taking place. At the 6 minute marker, so okay, the instructor goes, the first word of revelation. Read our whole faith is based on the book. So yeah, I mean, yeah, again, it's propaganda. It's clear propaganda. They're pushing how their scripture is the word. Excuse me, at the 7 marker, but it's special, very special. He's talking about Rumi's book here, and again, this is a book of love poems. So to put in perspective, you've got this like 50-year-old talking to a prepubescent girl and saying, you know, she needs to read this very special book of love poems, like, for example, Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. Now, who in the world, I mean, people from UK, US, wherever, are you going to let some 50-year-old man come into your home and tell your young daughter, hey, you know what, read this book of love poetry? I don't know, maybe you will, but that kind of is odd to me.
Whoever read the poems and it was about love or anything like that, and it wasn't about boobs and stuff like that, and you know, like stuff like there is always something erotic in it, you know,
Right.
there were what they call it, what they call it, that thing, girl from both sides or had boobs from different sides, whatever it is, it's some different some poems, stuff like that, you know, uh
Right.
yeah, I don't want to keep going with it, but
No, no, yeah, I understand. Like, so are you familiar with Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass? That's something
yeah,
another.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like that. It's very romantic. It uses innuendo, like the
yeah,
opening of a flower to be, you know, sexual, but not
yeah,
not in a perverse way. Yeah, I get it. Um, so at the 8 minute marker, again, what you mentioned before is talking about the attack of the Mongols on the Muslims, and now these people are refugees, and they have to flee, I guess, toward the west. Again, pushing this historical mass migration of the 21st century that's taken place, that's taken root. As they call it a hijra, or you know, something to that
yeah,
effect. Mhm.
yeah. He was advocating, that old man, advocating to show that they were a refugee. He was a refugee himself, the poet, you
Mm,
know, that he was putting in front. Yeah, yeah, he was a refugee himself. Why you are not refugee? You were in your own country. You are not refugees. You are in Aleppo. You know why you are
well
saying
said.
he is a refugee himself? That means you are advocating that she will be a refugee later on. So why you are saying himself about, you know, why he's mentioning that?
Yeah.
He could be saying like he was a refugee, let's say, here, or he ran from his you know, he ran from his home country because of a war or something like that. But he said no, he was a refugee himself. The wording showing that there will be a refugee situation.
Mm, okay. Um. All right. So at the 8 minute marker. Okay. So here's now this is a little girl reading from the poem of, poem of love, the book, Rumi's book. She goes, I long for someone, mingled hearts, who bleeds. And we've seen these movies of themes of bleeding. Listen, listen to the reed. And we'll get to that too. To listen to the reed? I don't know, man. It just, it's a bit much. And now you see her mother like in a weird position, holding on tight to her, I guess, a wedding band. I'm not clear about that. Are you understanding
It, it
what that's
is
supposed to
it
mean?
is the wedding band of the husband. When he left, he died in the war. He went
Mm.
maybe for ISIS or something and he died. And she all what she received from him or she kept out of him is his wedding band. I don't know why he went without his wedding band. Maybe he left it on purpose. He went for his new another wife and she got killed there.
Mm.
I don't know.
Okay, so thank
When,
you. Yeah,
when you say read, listen to the read. What do you think it does it mean?
yeah, penis. It's phallic. Okay,
Uh,
yeah. We'll get to that. There's another symbol of the flute that to me is really phallic. But
yeah,
again,
standing up flute.
yeah, right. So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Um, and so again, I mean, some people can say, some antagonists might say, I'm trying too hard to find things, but when you put it in context, then it becomes more overwhelmingly evident, in fact, that it's not really looking for things, but just being honest with what we're seeing or hearing. But I'm kind of curious, Amir, about this mother in her position. Why is she hiding behind the wall while her daughter is reading love poetry and holding her husband's wedding band like that with a weird facial expression? Any idea what this is supposed to mean?
Yes, she's reading about the private part, and she's wishing where is my husband private part? I wish
Okay,
I have it.
you
You know,
see,
and
thank you. I
she's
mean,
crying for it.
all right, so okay, I felt kind of weird. Like I said, it's kind of. I mean, someone can accuse me of trying too hard to find things, but yeah, again, it's more than evident that there's something very, let's say, creepy, at least creepy, going on here. All right. So yeah, this would be my statement if I saw this going on. Yo, get your hand off my daughter, or I might have to put a hole in your head, you creepy bastard.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
Did you pay attention for this? Because later on you'll move away from this guy. Did you pay attention that for his accent? His accent is not even Arab.
I'm
His
not kidding.
accent is more like Eastern European, mainly Polish.
No kidding. Interesting. Huh. All right, so at the 8-minute marker, we will discuss the poems next time. Maybe you can share them with some of your friends. Oh, cool. So the little girls not enough. Let's have a harem of little girls, right?
Advertising.
Share the love poems with your friends. Okay, all right. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the story here that they're sharing here, and they do it close up. They spent some time. It says a snake catcher and a terrible serpent. A huckster went into the mountains in search of an attraction that would amaze an audience and earn a few coins. Huh? What do you mean, earn a few coins? What is that supposed to mean? Any ideas, Amir? What am I missing there?
Repeat again. Let's the
Uh,
audience listen again.
yeah, a
Repeat.
huckster means someone who's like trying to deceive people. A huckster went
Yeah.
into the mountains in search of an attraction that would amaze an audience and earn him a few coins.
Huh. How they will earn the coins?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now this thing with the red eyes on the in the book.
Mhm.
Why it is there? It's look like a monster, isn't it?
Yeah,
The book
so
is love book.
that's a good
Something
point.
something is not reasonable in the whole story, in the whole movie, and they keep flipping from her what she's visualizing or dreaming about, or yeah, and this kind of thing backward and forward. And sometimes in her dreams she flip twice different type of dreams about that Rumi.
Mm.
Dreams twice as well. During her dream, Rumi dreams. something
Okay.
not right, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think also again with the stream that we did yesterday about the woman shooting up the Lakewood Church. Again, naturally, and I say natural because it happens over and over again. Well, it's not because she's Muslim; it's because she's crazy, or quite the opposite. She's crazy because she's Muslim. Okay, so
Exactly.
yeah. And another thing that the media has been doing for a while now has been pushing this being crazy as something that's kind of cool. So that I think there's I could be wrong, but I think there's two things that are taking place right now. That make an excuse for her for Islam being evil, maybe, but also maybe promoting this idea of like making it cool that being crazy is something entertaining, something normal, and something fun.
Yeah.
All right. At 9, again with the cell phone. Are you coming? I'll leave that there. All right. At the 11-minute marker. Okay, so this is what we were talking about earlier. So at the 11-minute marker, and then later at the 50-minute marker, they're both playing with this flute. They're trying to push it in the mound in the ground, and that's supposed to bring all the magic, and that's supposed to save them. Later we see, so he's flopping around with it, and if we're gonna attach sexual innuendo to this scene, we can say that well he's like fumbling around with his flute, and he can't get it to stay up, and it kind of flops over. So he's a failure at sticking the flute into the mount.
Yeah,
But
I
then,
want to say
sorry.
something that they were saying that he got books and Ibn Rumi that he's a great poet, yeah, and a great person, yes. Now, for a great poet and a great brain to plant the flute, forget about sexual things, yeah. To plant the flute, he's an idiot.
That's great.
She said
Yeah,
she told, and she saw him digging it in. She told him, "Why you are breaking it? He's not breaking it. He's digging it in, you know." And she told him, "Why you are?" So she's the idiot more than him. She told him, why you are breaking it?" And he said, "I'm not breaking it. I'm planting it." Wow, you killed
okay.
me with your smartness.
I think that has again. I think it's sexual innuendo, but also they're trying to do this psychedelic thing throughout this movie. Like you said, it's got a Sufi influence, so I guess they try to make it magical in some weird ways. I don't know.
Yeah, pay attention for the flute how they are planting it though. The flute
Yeah.
itself. Why is the snob up, not at the bottom? Because the big section could stand.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a
The
great
smaller
point.
section,
But Amir,
yeah,
if they did that, then the flute would not look like a penis.
yes,
So that's the problem. All right.
exactly. That's what I'm saying, and,
Yeah.
and that's why I called it a knob. And that,
Oh boy.
excuse me, ladies, I'm really sorry,
Well,
but the whole idea it's like that.
yeah. I mean, with the other movies, they were uh,
Obvious.
much more, yeah, obvious, obnoxious about what they're doing. But here, because it's a propaganda piece, they're trying to make it all subtle, but still the same thing and still okay. All right, the 28-minute marker, we see the typical bombing. I jumped ahead. I probably skipped some things that you might want to talk about. I don't know, but again, I don't know. I'm just as a
You
non-Muslim, I'm
You
quite.
skipped, yes, you skipped the bombing. You skipped that it's an airplane was hitting Aleppo, while it wasn't airplanes who's hitting Aleppo. The one who was hitting Aleppo was ISIS killing and hitting it, and including what they call it,
Missiles.
Bashar al-Assad by his tanks. But there were no
Oh wow.
airplane, an actual airplane. They are trying not to put it on Islamic terrorism. They are
Mm.
trying to make it like a Western or something terrorism. You
Oh
get
yeah.
what they are doing? That's what you miss. The whole idea that they are removing it from Islamic terrorism.
Mm.
Yes, this is the point that it is Islamic terrorism, and that's why they flee from Islam. Islam people, Muslim people flee from Muslim Islamic terrorism, Mohammedism.
all the time. And
Yeah.
again, I mentioned him yesterday, but one of my favorites is David Ahmad, ex-Muslim, who shared his story and how he was actually jihadi as a young child. So he was learning how to kill people at a very young age, and then when he saw um, his terrorist cell killing other Muslims, he's like, okay, wait, what the hell's going on here? And that's when he left Islam. He literally fled, like you said. Even as a young training to be a terrorist from a young age, is like, okay, this is nuts. He became an atheist, and then eventually he found Christianity, and I think
Yeah.
he moved somewhere in the States or Canada. I'm not sure anyway. Um, yeah. So, was there something before the bombing that I missed?
Yeah, only the boy who is a thief. He stole her bag and he ran
Oh,
away. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah. He keeps,
Because they are all thieves.
yeah, yeah, and he keeps harassing her too, which is kind of interesting. He won't leave her alone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So at the 30-minute marker. So yeah, it shows how the Muslims are helping the poor Christian priest in the time of bombing. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, I paid attention for that. Why is that only one priest with a big cross
Yep.
to advocate in the whole movie? There is only this poor priest who need that help, and they are helping him from the Islamic terrorism.
Well, that part they might got right. There might actually be only one Christian in Aleppo, and he might be a priest. With all
Yeah,
the terrorism, probably all the other Christians left. So
yeah,
anyway, yeah. So I hope he paid jizya.
yeah.
It says it will. Yeah. All right, the 38-minute marker. All right, so the Mediterranean Sea, like in America at least, when you see Mediterranean, you kind of associate that with Greece. I know that bothers some people, but um, so to me, that's kind of like, okay, you know what? They're kind of trying to associate, the displacement. They're having to flee from the Mongols on the Greeks just by using this heading Mediterranean Sea. I mean, are they at the sea or?
It
I
would
mean, I
be
guess.
uh, it would be jumping from Tripoli, Lebanon, by boat to Greece to then to United Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're at what you call it at Palestine right now. Maybe they went to Palestine.
No, 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 no Palestine. Palestine will not help them at all.
Yeah.
It will be Tripoli, Lebanon. Tripoli
Mm,
is the line transaction. It's the where they go, and
okay.
there is last couple of weeks 2 or 3 boats been drowned.
Oh wow, no kidding.
Yeah, no, I'm not because they are overloading them.
Wow.
I bet there is nothing drowning. They are really selling bodies and parts and stuff like that.
Jeez.
I know they are really bad people.
Yeah, that's a shame. All right. Yeah. 48 Muslim refugees. They go to Makkah, so now they're saved. They go to their sacred rock. um, yeah, I'm not sure exactly when Rumi existed and all that. I should
Exactly.
know. Yeah.
But pay attention. The father came on a rock. He said, instead of running away, let's go running around the Kaaba.
Yeah.
Uh,
So is this? Sorry, go ahead.
and the Mongol, they were there in the Kaaba. How did the Mongol spread all that way from Aleppo or whatever it is to the Kaaba, or from Azbazistan, whatever it is, where it is? Let me get it. He's where he was born. Rumi is not. Hold on, because it was. Somewhere Kazakhstan, somewhere, uh, because he went to hold on. Yeah, because he was born let's say in that place where it is.
Yeah, I should know. I should know this. I should have looked it up myself.
Yeah, from that place. Yeah, from that place. Yeah, he jumped to Mecca. He need an aeroplane. He doesn't need. He can't even walk it. You know. Uh, because he mentioned an area in earlier on in Samarkand. Later on, you will hear him saying about Samarkand, and
Interesting.
Samarkand is Uzbekistan. Actually, it was at the beginning. The guy, the old man who was molesting the girl, sorry,
Giving
giving
her
the book to
lessons.
her. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was mentioned for her that he was born in Samarkand and he was in Samarkand. Samarkand is Uzbekistan. So this Arumi is Uzbekistan, so he doesn't know any Arabic. Yes,
Yeah.
and it is where, if you can tell me the Mongol, where they came from.
Mongolia is northern part of China. That little bit I do
Yeah,
know.
how far from Uzbekistan, whatever it
A
is.
long, yeah, long distance. All across the Silk trade route,
Yeah,
from all the way from pretty much the Pacific Ocean, pretty much all the
yeah.
way
Would you,
across.
would you would you be able to reach that place by the Mongol?
By horse. Not me. I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't make it.
I'm telling you, the whole story is full of lies.
Interesting.
The whole story is full of lies. It's not the war. It wasn't at that time. Different timing as well. The war with them. It was different timing. The
That's
Mongols.
fascinating. I never heard that perspective before. That's really interesting.
So the guy was really, it's big lie what he was speaking about. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, so Samarkand. What the hell is Samarkand? So if he's living in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, and in the 8th century, yeah. So no, so not in the 8th century, but anyway, so he was in the 1221 or
Mm,
28. He was born or something.
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
So it's
Anyway,
possible. All right. All right. At a 51-minute marker. Again, I'm sorry. This propaganda piece was really annoying to watch. So you see me keeping keep using the acronym BS here. But yeah, I mean, really, this is something that I experienced again. I call it the front lines. While I was in Greece, helping with the refugees, being a humanist. Spent after half a year of witnessing all these things, I'm witnessing in the political climate and the political things that were taking place and all that. Um, I just got sick of it. Yeah, and again, I recognized back then that these refugees, quote unquote refugees, these disgruntled Muslims were being paid to come in and populate European nations so they can serve as the new Gestapo. I mean,
yeah,
and then yeah, and now here we are. That's exactly what's taking place. So, but instead, while I was observing all these things, again, the NGOs themselves, people. I've got pictures and all that. I got kicked off of Facebook the first time around for sharing these pictures. And that was way before President Trump and all that stuff. Um, yeah. So basically, you would see the NGOs themselves pushing for the Muslims to have riots and trying to recruit people from outside the camps to take part. And this is amongst other things. And of course, the Muslims coming in and literally destroying everything, and all the problems they create. Meanwhile, despite all that, despite the history, specifically the Greeks, but other nations, despite all that, they were letting them in. They were supporting them. They're helping them. They're giving them medical, education, food, shelter, clothing, entertainment. They were making sure they were happy.
yeah. Make sure. They always, as long as you mention the NGO, they are the people who's trafficking them. They are the people who get paid by them. You see, the woman, she was paying the guy to traffic her, yeah. And the NGO is part of the people who get paid to
Yeah.
traffic African or Arab or someone, to traffic them to Europe. And you wouldn't believe it, but there is so many videos on YouTube showing that the NGO are part of the traffickers, you know, and that's why nobody allowed to return them, because the NGO is part of them, and they will immediately they will jump on human right and this right and that right, no matter what. And
Yeah.
there is so many things like that. And you mentioned about the giving benefits and stuff like that. Since when you see all these refugees living under the bridges while they are living in 5 stars hotels in UK, or
Yeah.
let's say
In Greece too.
yeah,
I,
I know in France they took a castle, they transform it for them, and guess what? The furniture is it's from
yeah.
Louis the 14th. So the refugees sold the furniture.
Wow.
Yes, the Louis they sold for peanuts the
Yeah.
furniture. The refugees sold, and now they are calling for money. We will need furniture, but you sold it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what type of Macron or whatever who put them in a castle with furniture like such a furniture castle? Put them in a
Wow.
hotel is better. Put them in
Yeah.
5 star hotel is better.
Well, I mean, again, part of my volunteering was to help refurbish let's call it a 5-star hotel on a Greek island for the
Yeah,
refugees, and this was at the very beginning. This was it before? It was right around when the Slavs closed the borders, right around then.
yeah,
Um, but still, I mean, the building was already in place before the borders were closed, so they already had plans to keep the Muslims around for a while.
yes.
And then when the border closed, they spread them throughout Greece, the entire country.
Yeah, and you will never see that refugees as coming as they saw in this movie, that they are showing them they are all under the bridge, and the police, the bad police, coming
Right.
to catch them and
Yeah.
deport them. Did you pay attention in the movie? The
Yeah.
police coming to catch them, putting them in the
Yeah.
trap to
Uh,
deport.
I've actually got a slide on that one. Yeah, that one was special too. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, sorry. Yeah, but
go ahead.
unfortunately, I don't have a close up of this picture. But let me see. Actually, you know what? I can do it like this. Maybe we can see some of it. My apologies. Should have got a better screenshot. Yeah, you can see. So allegedly, these Muslims are met by these kinds of people. They're all white. They're all, threatening them. I mean, come on, man. I mean, really? Like we just described, the exact opposite is taking place. But the Dawa propaganda, diabolically backward propaganda, is trying to illustrate something else. I mean, not even a thank you, but the exact opposite. All right, so there's exactly what you just
To be
mentioned.
able to go back, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Now check at this picture, that she is coming from this side, her head coming from this side. The people who is threatening turning their face to the other side, so they are not threatening them even if you want to look at it. They are
That's
two
interesting.
different sides.
That's
You
funny.
know, maybe
Yeah.
they will throw in it. They are trying to see who can throw the stone for longer. You know, who can stretch his throw to throw far longer distance.
You
You
can
know,
blame that on the animation company. Either that or I might have flipped it around, but I'm not sure. But either way, that's pretty funny. Um, yeah. So this is the scene that you just mentioned. It's at the 1 hour and 12-minute marker. The whole, F the police type scene. Okay, so this plays into both what you were saying, and of course the whole, what is it, what's that terrorist organization in America that set all the fires and destroyed everything, and to this day are destroying in all of California and the West Coast and so on. Oh, BLM. Um, yeah,
from
BLM.
the banner, I found it. I don't know why I felt that they are in UK from one of the signs.
Oh, the BLM. Yeah, it's just, of course. I mean, that's what mass media does, and again, that's why I keep pushing this stuff. It's not just Hollywood. It's as we saw during the lockdown, it push button fascism. It all affects everyone in an instant. All right. Okay, so of course I'm going to complain about this. Can you speak to why these Muslims are wearing togas? I mean, did they wear
Oh,
togas traditionally? I don't know.
they are wearing those sheets because they are pagans, like like
The Greeks. Blaming the Greeks, the pagans. Yeah, I got it. Uh, all right.
no,
Uh,
no, no. It's not about Greece. Not the Greeks. No, no.
oh, there's other
Because
pagans.
because
Interesting.
those pagans, Muhammad stopped. They used to go circling around the Kaaba with naked. But Muhammad, he liked a woman, and he didn't want people to see her anymore naked circling around the Kaaba. So he decided to do like Hindus. Hindus goes around with orange sheet. So he said, well, okay, we'll change it to white. We'll make it white, and we'll stay naked under that sheet. So
Fascinating.
now the way he called everybody to wear a white sheet, and so they are Hindus. There is a cow chapter even in the Quran.
No kidding. I heard about it, but I don't. It's not familiar.
Yeah, yeah. So they are doing like Hindus circling around the Kaaba as Hindus circling as well. They do the same tawaf. Hindus and Mohammedans.
All right. Thanks for the clarification. All right. So let's scratch this out. All right. So yeah, and he says it is not our eyes that are blind; it is our hearts. Man, is that an understatement? All right, so hopefully I spelt this right. This is from Norse mythology, and it's not only from Norse mythology. I mean, even the Tree of Life, but I think pagan societies kind of, let's say, perverted that in my mind. They stole that, and you see that type of, or use of tree in their mythologies. Um, yeah, but here in this movie, it talks about how his poetry and his flute that grows into this tree in the face of
Wow.
this oncoming evil, yeah, spans multiple universes. So now we're going into the whole transhumanism, the whole reset button thing that I like to talk about. That came in with video games about how what reality can be in people's minds just reset with a push of a button kind of thing, and that's where we're getting to as a society, especially with all this multiverse talk in the movies. Um, and so this is another thing you see even in this Islamic propaganda piece is that type of mindset being pushed. And also with the statement, you become what you pursue.
So
So,
why?
I mean, sorry, yeah.
I'm sorry to stop you here. Why
Okay.
you missed the section where they were praying?
I missed that. What? Yeah, okay. So that actually probably because I wasn't too familiar with what was going on. So I don't even know I have a picture. I apologize, folks. Any chance you could describe what was going on in that section?
I'm very sorry. You missed the section when they were advocating for salat, for prayers, Islamic prayers.
Hmm.
The mother were teaching prayers. There's their carpet. They're rolling. She's rolling the
Yeah,
stuff like that, bending up and down like and
yeah.
doing some stuff like that. This kind of things they were advocating for it in this movie to show how Muslims should pray, and they were speaking about so many things, Islamic words, but they may make and some salat, some even Muhammadan sheikh was doing. What they call it? Allahu Akbar in this movie.
I missed that one. I missed that one altogether.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of Islamic, pure Islamic things in this movie to speak about Islam, simply Islamic
Yeah.
shapes and stuff like that. I think, yeah, we should, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Hello, Linda, welcome, Protestant believer.
Maybe it was Protestant believer that told me about the that guy. Anyway, or Polanski. Anyway, whoever it was, thank you. So yeah, so basically the movie closes with this little static image. This writing from, I guess, from Rumi. It says, "Don't be satisfied with stories. how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. So to me, this is a revelation of the method. They're basically saying, you know what, we're full of shit. That's what I got out of this. I could be wrong.
And if
yeah.
you think about it, maybe you'll Google it. It will be for someone else.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my presentation. Is there anything else that I missed?
No, no, you covered. Yes, yes. A little girl with her teacher t-shirt and her rainbow. They,
Oh,
yeah, you missed that. You missed the rainbow. They always has to put rainbow somewhere.
yeah. Um, yeah. So, usually we do a grade, but this is pretty straightforward. On gradings, I would give this 72 goats, 72 kids. Yeah. And 3 6s. And as far as redemption value, even though it's a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to go with 0. So I don't know about you, Amir. What would you
For
say?
me, for me, if you think that you are bored and you have nothing to watch and you want to watch something, don't watch this movie.
Yeah.
TikTok it. Go on TikTok.
Mm. All right. So let me do a quick review of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. So yeah, I mean, just a real quick review. These are two themes that we didn't cover last week. Last week, we're doing part 2 of the quintuplet of pedoism movies. So with this movie, it had so many tokens, so many things for me to share. I just focused on the pedoism and left out the emasculation and the Christian bashing and some other things like CRT stuff. There's some of that in there too. Not even need to take note of all that stuff, man. Kind of get sick of that stuff. But real quick, let me zip through that so we can at least talk about it now. By any chance, did you get the opportunity to watch either of those movies? Like, Are You There, God? Or
No.
no, okay, yeah, you're not missing much. You're spared from that. So, yeah. So in this part, let's see the anti-Christian part. Like at the 5-minute marker, you see the family kind of hugging in the top left corner, and she's saying, I'm never going to see you again. Oh, Jesus. And the person on the right is the Jewish grandmother. Now, you should know, we talked about this last week, but basically her father is Jewish, as you can see, and her mother is Christian. But her mother was abandoned by Christian parents because she married a Jew, and so they ostracized them. Which, in
Uh,
my sorry, go
can I
ahead,
stop here?
please.
Normally, not a Christian who stop or ban
Yeah,
people to marry from a Jew or Muslim or something. It
yeah,
is the opposite. People who Jew, they will never speak with their kids if they
yeah,
get married with the Christians,
exactly.
because they don't accept that person, that their son or daughter, to get married with a Christian or any outsider. So they are twisting the stories in this case.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's diabolical. It's diabolically wondrous. I mean, it's not even a lie. It's the exact opposite of reality. And this has been my experiences personally. I have had Jewish friends, and every single time they went on and on about how they're Jewish. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then eventually they'll give me the boot. I had one that stole. I was trying to do him a favor, and he stole comics. Like a couple $1,000s worth of comics from me as I was trying to. And then not only that, I mean, as if I'm bad enough, but he was like having a good time about it and insulting me too. So he did
Wow.
it out of pure malice. Yeah. So I mean, these has been my experiences with all the Jews that I've known. So I mean, whatever. Um, all right. So at the 25-minute marker, we see the black teacher saying, "I hate religious holiday." Oh, wait a minute. Actually, it's the girl talking to her. I hate religious holidays. Because of the whole divisiveness of the Jew and Christian thing. And again, the Christian parents are portrayed as horrible. The movie throughout the movie, the mom is crying. They're having big discussions. Here on the right, you see they're talking to their daughter. what are they saying? Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Okay. It's at the 1 hour and 17-minute marker. She's saying, "Oh God," and she's mad at at the at the Christian grandparents because they decided to come back into their life. So instead of being excited about that, she's going to meet her grandparents. She's mad because now she can't go to her Jewish grandmothers, who she visits with all the time, and that becomes a major melodrama here. Yeah, here we have the Karen, the bossy Karen, who's pushy. Here we have the daughter protesting when all the family gets together, both sets of grandparents. That's when I kind of mentioned this last week when she blows up. She says, "I'm sick of all of you. I'm going to be nothing." And then the mother kind of encourages that and says, "Yeah, she's got to decide for herself." And of course, she decides atheism, and that's the solution to the movie. Just like we've seen in other movies, the solution tends to be atheism. Like same thing with Cuties. She left Islam, yay, but she becomes atheist, and that's supposed to be the solution. The tears about how horrible the Christian parents are, Christian grandparents. This is the scene where they blow up, and the Jewish grandmother's kind of giving them hell. Here on the bottom right, she's writing a story about how what she's fed up with religion, that label, because all religion is the same. Storming off in dominance over her parents. This girl who's I don't want to get into the other stuff we talked about last week, but basically she's talking about confession, and that's made an ordeal. And she does go to confession, but she takes off because confession is useless and awkward. More, "Oh God, Jesus," in inappropriate moments, and these types of things. I believe I've covered it all as far as that goes. But yeah, the standard Christian bashing. But in this case, it's also a dichotomy. Are you with Palestine or are you with Israel? But in this case, are you with Christianity or are you with Israel? You got to choose. And the solution for this movie is atheism. Fantastic. All right. So the mask. Sorry, go ahead.
Can I mention? No, you can go to the second
That's
slide.
right. That's
I
right.
want to mention something about the last movie we were mentioning, because it came to my mind something that in that movie they were mentioning. I forgot to speak about it. Maybe that they were mentioning all the time. They didn't mention Allah. They were saying God, 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 God. They were advocating that Allah is God for the West. They don't want to say Allah, 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 because they don't want to make the difference for the West, while Allah is a proper name for their own God. Yes. Now, this is what came to my mind now, that they were advocating that Allah is God for everyone. So God, 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 it will work for everyone. Playing on the words, that they were using the word God. They don't use the word Allah for everyone. Let's mean their God, their Allah, and our God are the same. They are advocating in this way. This is what came to my mind now. Now, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a very good point. And yeah, I mean that has that dual problem of what you're saying, but also the atheist perspective of how religion is all the same. The mass media rhetoric of religion is all the same, and what the things that Muslims do is being blamed on Christians, and that too is a problem.
It is not the same. Religions are not the same. That's first. Second, the Christianity is not religion. It's a way of life. We live it. It is our way of life. It's not a religion. Third, Islam is not a religion. It's barely a cult. It's a head of a snake, barely a cult. Jews or something. It's a race. So you cannot call all of them religions, and you cannot call all of them. Let's say they are Abrahamic. You cannot call all that, put them in the same pot. Whoever say that is stupid.
Right. Or listening to mass media, because that's what they push.
Exactly.
So I forgot what this one scene here on the bottom left. It's right after I mentioned this last week. The girls are, obsessed about the breast size, so they're doing this one exercise where you see women in the gym doing the exercise, moving their arms back and forth to augment their chest. And the girls in that scene, they're going, what was it? we must increase our bust and doing this back and forth motion. And then they do that a couple of times in the movie. And the second time they do it, the girls are doing that, and then it cuts right to this where the gospel singers are clapping and singing praises to Jesus, but it's the same motion. So again, that's insanely, disgustingly blasphemous.
Yes.
But that's Hollywood. All right, so the emasculation. This is pretty obvious here. So at the 2-minute marker, I want to point this out. The movie starts with the family moving in or leaving their home and moving into a new home. And you see the woman coming out of the car and you're carrying this heavy thing, and the dad just kind of shows up lackadaisically afterward and kind of fumbles around and barely helps. Small thing, but not really. It all adds up.
It's not small things. They are showing that the father is a lazy and he doesn't, no useless. So they were trying to put father's down.
Yep. At the bottom left corner, at the 30-minute marker, so sexism, I cannot wait to take it off. She's talking about her bra. And then the mom goes, yeah, welcome to womanhood. So again, this is the 60s bra burning kind of mentality. Again, subtle, but as a writer, it's prominent. And then, of course, all the resources that follow to create the scenes and editing and so on. At the 31-minute marker, we see the car in the driveway. Let me see where that's at. Okay, the top middle. Again, you see a very common thing you see in movies is the woman at the driver's wheel. Again, you might call me, what do you call it, misogynist, because how dare I? Do I have a problem with women driving? No, I don't have a problem with women driving. But why is it in movies the woman is always driving, the man's in her passenger seat, acting like a putz? At the 32-minute marker, the top left corner, the dad can't.
Yeah. I don't mind. I like to have drivers.
Yeah, chauffeur. I hear you.
Yeah.
At the top left corner, we see the dad. He's not even competent enough to mow the old lawn without, practically killing himself. So the reaction to that is at the middle left and the middle right, where the mother is making, or the wife is making fun of the husband, as like, she's not concerned, she's reading the manuals, like, hey, idiot, you didn't have to use a lawnmower. It says right here, don't do this. What, you're an idiot? Wow. And then the daughter comes along. He's like, oh, where are you going? He's like, I'm going after your friends. And try not to kill yourself, Dad. Ha ha ha. Kind of like that. Like, what the hell? Literally, yeah. She goes, you have to turn on the motor. Like, oh my God. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it like taking the piss about the father all the time?
Yeah. I mean, basically, he barely has a role. The only role he has is to basically make fun of him when he shows up.
Yeah. So he's basically just the joke of the movie.
Yeah. Comic relief. Yeah. Bottom right corner at the 1 hour 10-minute marker. Are you there, God? I hate men. This is when she's fed up with all his relationships and all that, and she's come up with the perfect postmodern solution. Men are horrible. I hate them. Let's do away with them. Is the ultimate solution, as we saw again in the Lakewood shooting, and on and on and on. That's what we're being prompted to.
I always say men are horrible. I hate them because I love women. I love women, actually.
Well, in your case, I'm not going to complain. But anyway.
Yeah, give me women and take whatever, the one that wonders. So, yeah, I always say that.
Yeah. Okay, so on the top right corner, we actually have him in a prominent position. He's reacting now to the Christian parents wanting to come back to the life. Now he's taking an authoritative role. Of course, he looks kind of, I want to say fag, but I can't say that on YouTube. I'll say
go ahead.
Gayish. We'll use that word. Queer, extremely queer.
Don't be shy. You can say anything you like.
That's all right. I already got in trouble today. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, so there's one moment to take control. Look at how he's posturing. He's walking around in the same positioning and all that. Completely queer. It's like disgusting. Okay, so that's what I have for those notes. I had some CRT moments and all that, but that's enough. You guys get the idea. It's the same Hollywood stuff over and over and over again. Um, okay. Killers of the Flower Moon. We're an hour and a half. What do you think, Amir? Should we? I can plow through this in 30 minutes. Be done.
Uh, in 30 minutes, it's all right if you want, but if we can make it in another episode, it will be better, no?
Nobody watches the sequels. I don't say nobody, but we have like half the viewers on the sequels than we do the originals.
Okay.
Plus, I have a theme today that I wanted to cover, which
Okay,
is
go ahead. If you want to go ahead, go ahead. It's
All
fine.
right, I'll zip through it. All right, so 2023, last year, award-winning movie, won a bunch of awards. So Martin Scorsese is the director, producer in this movie. He also did Silence, which was a Christian movie, let's say, in Asia, do missionary work. Basically, the solution to that movie was to submit to the pagan powers and step on your cross and do that thing. Do whatever they ask you to do. All the blasphemy so you can survive. That was the solution of that movie.
Did you say
Hugo.
did you say
Sorry.
baking powders? What did you say?
Oh, Silence. To basically do what the pagans tell you to do. I mean, if they tell you to step on the cross, yeah.
Pagans power.
Yeah.
I thought they are baking powders.
Baking powder. Sorry, I'm talking fast. I'm trying to. All right, I'll try to slow down. You're right. Nobody can understand me when I speak fast.
No, I'm joking with you.
No, you're right. Hugo was an animation about it's transhumanism. Basically, long story short, it's about robotics and reality and the two merging together. The Wolf of Wall Street, as you might have seen, another award-winning film. It's about Wall Street people that are having parties and drugs and hookers and all this stuff. Yeah, so that's Scorsese. Of course, the mafia movies that he makes. He also did these documentaries on the bottom. Medicine Ball Caravan was about this caravan. I'm not sure if it was like charismatic or not. And the description of it is about the charismatics. But when I zipped through it, I didn't really catch that. But I didn't watch it. I just skimmed through it, so I'm not sure. Again, George Harrison, the Beatles, Freemason galore. I mean, whatever. Ugh, I think about him, I want to vomit. Forgive me. Though for the Beatle fans I'm offending right now, I'm sorry, but as an American, every year I have to watch the New York Apple, the ball drop, and every year they play Imagine. No Religion too. I'm not a fan of the Beatles.
Neither I.
I'm not okay.
I don't know.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know why I never been fan of them.
Yeah, probably because of they probably exude that anti-Christian thing, even though
I don't
so-
know. I like Bee Gees. I like stuff like that. but
Peaches, I hear you.
yeah, not the Beatles.
Yeah. So in the movie, there's the insane man-hating melodrama and also female supremacy. This is allegedly based on true people, but we know how Hollywood does with these true stories. So God knows what the real story is. But yeah, we'll probably get into that. Christianity is, of course, portrayed as bad, while the paganism of the ancient is fantastic and wonderful. Evil white man, of course, is the thing. The evil white man. We hear that over and over again in media about the colonization of the New World. Okay, so I've got some notes here about the Osage and their tribes and all that. For the sake of time, I'm going to kind of skip through it. But long story short, at a glance, the portrayal of these pagans as being the victims. I'm not saying they weren't victimized. That's not at all what I'm saying. I mean, no, I believe in natives, and that's why the Islamic encroachment is a problem. But why are we pushing for Islamic encroachment? And that's inclusion and equality and solidarity. But when the white man does it, all of a sudden it's evil. Okay.
As long as you want to skip it, we want to know what's Ewa cooking, because she said she's cooking.
Yeah. But basically, you see a bunch of little articles here, talking about their paganism, how they attacked each other and all that. I did have a video that I wanted to show from the onset about yet another person coming through the borders. That the whole issue about the about borders at the south. You know, there's
Yeah.
Muslims coming through. There's Chinese spies coming through. There's all kinds of people coming through that are getting caught, including recently a mass murderer that came through. Um, you know, but I got to ask about these Hispanics, these Latin people that are coming through the border, these borders of Texas, New Mexico, California, you know, and Mexico. You know, how do the, let's say, you know, you see now that the thing is, well, we're on the land of the Osage, for example. We're now on the land of, you know, pronouncing what land, what of the original Native American Indians, what land that they belong to. So these Hispanics, these Latinx people that are coming through, how do the Cherokee, how do the Dakota, how do the Navajo even, how do they feel about that encroachment? Maybe you know, the enemy of my enemy. Maybe they'll say, okay, you know what? As long as it's against the white man, then I'll agree. Let's bring them in. But really, it's still encroachment, isn't it? No matter how you slice it. But again, as long as it's about, you know, anti-European white, then it's okay. Everything else, including, of course, solidarity with pagan cultures, Islam, Native American Indians. Okay, so the movie kicks off with Indians crying. This is literally at the 0/1 minute marker. You know, playing up the victimhood thing. Again, I'm not promoting colonization. I'm anti-war. And if you hear my sentiments about this current didactic nonsense about, you know, are you with Israel or are you with Palestine? That is why I'm against war. Either way, evil is evil. Sometimes it's necessary when you're defending yourselves and your people, and that's in the face of encroachment. Okay, so I get that. And that's why I'm saying, you know, I'm not saying that they weren't victimized. That's one thing, but to portray it as one-sided all the time and nothing but, that's propaganda. I'm sorry, go ahead.
To be frank with you, is not Islam was anti-white. It's been advocated in USA by those Black Lives Matter, and they are not even black, you know, and it's carried out by Muslims because Muhammad himself is white, and whoever called him black used to be killed,
Fair enough.
you know. So the Muslims just playing the game at the
Yeah,
moment.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So at the 13-minute marker, we see a bunch of murders, including this weird, it alleges to be poison kind of scene. And it's talking about how these murders, they're all being ignored. This husband shoots his wife in a very brutal way while she's, you know, just now putting the baby into the carriage. So again, I mean, I don't know. This is very similar to me. There's parallels here between the historical mass migration of Muslims in the 21st century and this colonization. The difference being, one, people are pro-Islam moving in versus Europeans moving in. The civilization that they brought to people. I'm not pro-colonization, but there's a stark difference between the two. And one is hated on, the Christian ones, and the other is being, you know, glorified and saying they're victims, and those are the pagan ones. At the 19-minute marker, the main villain is revealed. Okay, so looking at this picture, can anyone guess who the main villain is? You might say the priest, and that's a fair guess. Usually the priest is the main villain. But there's the woman. Do you think there's a woman is the main villain, or this dude? Anybody want to guess?
Does she look like a woman? Let's go nearer a bit. She looks like
Yeah,
a woman or a fag. I don't know.
yeah, she's the main character. Let me see if that helps. I don't know if that's going to help or not. Yeah, it kind of helps a little bit.
Yeah, I think a woman.
The woman is the villain?
Yeah.
Okay, you're trying to be funny. I don't know. All right, so this is Hollywood. Let me remind you that. So keep in mind, this is Hollywood. Is the woman the villain or the man the villain? And she's a Native American. He's white.
Well, a villain normally they must be man,
Yeah,
but
white man for sure.
for them. They never put a woman, but because they are advocating that woman empowering women and making man as a sissy. But
Yeah,
yeah, soy boys. That's all what they want to do.
yeah,
Uh, but I don't know in here how it is.
yeah. So I'm bringing this up because it's significant. It's the first time they show the church. This priest here doesn't really play much of a role. But again, this is part of the early introduction of this character, and he is the villain. So I don't. This is something that Hollywood does all the time. It's Pavlovian. It's associating the cross with the villain. It's subliminal. Trust me. This happens over and over and over again. Every time you see a cross, people ask yourself, is there something bad about to happen, or is the villain being introduced? One or the other is happening. I'm going to say easily over 90% of the time, if not 100. All right, 22. Pro-pagan culture and victimhood narrative explicitly illustrated. Now, this villain character is reading about the Osage because he wants to take advantage of the Native American Indian woman that we just saw, who's rich, and so he's going to try to win her way into her heart, and that's discussed with his uncle, who we'll see is a Freemason. He's another main villain character. At the 24-minute marker, the pagan prayer is glamorized. That's the woman, his future wife, and after at dusk, she's out praying, doing her oh, and these guys at dusk are walking outside of the bar after losing and gambling all this money that they just stole. So the white man evil, the pagan woman romantically good. At the 25-minute marker, Indians doing Muslim tongue war cry. Okay, so I was raised thinking that the native war cry was like a woo, 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 woo. Now, I could be wrong, but in this scene, I don't have to share with you because I don't want YouTube to have an excuse to, remove this video, but she's going like the Muslims are doing.
You're good at it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna invite you for the next wedding.
So, should I wear the burqa?
No need for that.
All right. So yeah, I thought that was unusual. Anyone that's familiar with that custom, if I'm wrong, if the actual Native American war cry or whatever it is actually using the tongue and not, then please let us know. But yeah, that was to me a crafty way to build that parallel between Islam and those victims, and these Native American Indians and those victims, and how they're all oppressed by the evil white Christian man. All right, at the 36-minute marker, there's a pagan wedding. They're finally getting married. She's dressed as a general. It's not even Native American. What do you call those things? I forgot now. Basically beads, like they use them as monetary things. Usually these things are made out of beads. So again, I could be wrong, but whatever. But what I find interesting is that, okay, so they're not even having a Christian wedding, even though she is Christian in the movie, but she's also pagan. That kind of reminds me of my liberal.
I didn't get
Sorry?
that. Christian and pagan?
Yeah. Well,
How
think
come?
about it. Yeah, think about it this way. How many Christians do you know that are also liberal? It's kind of doesn't work out, but that exists. I mean, but yeah, you're right. Jesus clearly says, you cannot serve two masters. You either serve one or the other.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so on that note, we have now, again, the pagan wedding, but he's wearing a cross.
Cross in his neck.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to guarantee heaven anyhow.
One way or the other, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say I'm a fan of some Native American characters, including Sitting Bull. In fact, I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. We might even cover that. He's the main character of the comic book that I created years ago. And historically, factually, he too converted to Christianity, but until the day he died, he was also still promoting and trying to preserve his pagan Native American Indian culture. So I suspect it wasn't too uncommon, unfortunately. All right. At the 37-minute marker, feminism, supremacy, extreme. Okay, so Yeah, basically, look at the expressions on their faces, and it was basically in the thumbnail. Um, they're all melancholy. Looks like they're all rich, and the sequence shows how they're running around with jewels and stuff. They're because of the oil that they found on their land, but they're being abused and exploited because of that oil, and the white man's money, and how dare they, and all these things. So I don't know. While they're showing women and nothing but women, the people that inherit the oil, it just happens to be nothing but women. The men are barely present, and if they're present, they're pathetic or they're evil. There's the white men that are evil. The Indian men that are pathetic and crying, but rarely present. So, yeah, I mean, again, these themes are over exaggerated in this movie. Long story short.
We we have no disrespect for women. We love women. We appreciate women. We have sisters and mothers and every. We respect them. We appreciate them. What we are only speaking about this women stuff in movies. So please don't misunderstand us. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that as a reminder, a quick audience. Let me reinforce that by saying, and I'm glad you said it because I wanted to premise this because I know how this comes off. And that's part of mass media's game. By my reacting to their propaganda, by my being an apologist for the white Christian man, I'm now sounding like a misogynist. And that's the game. Like when I complain about the behavior of the Greeks, I'm now sounding like a egoist, a nationalist. I'm not. I'm anything but. But that's part of the game. They want us to react. But yeah, I mean, like you, Amir, I love women. In fact, that's been my problem. It's probably I'm
Good,
not
good to
ordained.
know that. Good to know that.
All right. Good.
Like let's say those women, what they call it, the USA, the party women something. What they call it?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't care
Like
about those things.
the feminist.
Oh yeah, the women's lib. You mean the women's lib movement or something else?
Yeah, or something. They call it feminist or something. And then they have Linda Sarsour on top of
Uh,
them, and they are going inside on the street, and all these women are putting burqa for Linda Sarsour.
uh,
Come on. This is it is for liberty of women, and then they are all putting burqa for her. This is not exactly how it should be for women. Women,
yeah.
they are calling for liberty. Even in Iran, they are taking it off, even if they get killed.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you doing?
Uh,
It's you
uh,
are twisting it. They're twisting it.
yeah. Two things. One, I've got what you just said in my video. Exactly that contrast. How they're showing solidarity in the West by putting on burqas, while in the Middle East they're actually setting their burqas on fire to become more Westerner. So, I mean, it's insane. Um, the documentary that I was talking about, please check it out. But also I've heard, let's call it from insider, from a libtard, who a prominent libtard, that they actually get paid to do that, to wear the burqas. They get money
Oh
for that.
yes, oh yes. I know in Lebanon they used to pay Hezbollah women. Let's say I'm speaking about Hezbollah, the Shia. They used to get paid from Iran. What they call it, regular salary, and at the time they used to give Volvo for
Wow.
women. For women. Now I don't know if they improved the car to be, let's say, Mercedes or BM,
For
but
Volvo, Amir, I'm putting on a burqa coming to your wedding for a Volvo.
exactly, exactly. So Iran was empowering women by Volvo if they advocate Islam by burqa. Not
Wow.
yeah.
All right. So speaking of, it's interesting. What's his name? Actually, he's doing a stream right now. Someone help me out. The guy who says that Islam is to blame for everything. Lloyd the Young. So, yeah, he did a thing about how Freemasonry came from Islam. I don't know if I buy that 100%, but I definitely agree that Islam has a big influence on Freemasonry. I would say Judaism does too. But yeah, it's just another thing here. Naturally, media doesn't portray either Judaism or Christianity as Freemasons, but rather, I'm sorry, I said Christians, Jews nor Muslims as Freemasons, but rather Christians. It's the Illuminati guilty for everything. So the Christians, the Catholics especially, or particularly, are guilty for everything according to mass media. And so we see that kind of scene here. This character, this evil character, is supposed to be the Christian one. The religious one is always saying God blessing, and this and that, this kind of stuff. While he's arguably the most evil character and a Freemason. Okay, so now going back to the paganism and how beautiful it is. Now the grandmother dies, and these spirit people come to walk her away in this beautiful, silent scene. Like, I don't know, man. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Hollywood just sick. Oh, and speaking of typical, not the 1 hour and 36-minute marker. Nonchalantly, the main evil character walks through a parade. Like, they have different sections in the parade, and the KKK is part of this parade. And he's like, hey, he's talking to this leader, and this guy is always in the movie in the background, kind of encouraging things, but not prominently. So, and these two are very evil characters, main characters. So anyway, it's just typical nonsense. I'm not saying the KKK didn't exist. I'm not saying evil people don't exist. I'm not saying white people don't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but when they act as KKK and what they were doing, they weren't acting as a Christian. But now they are advocating that Christian,
Right.
all of them like KKK.
Well, actually, going back to Lloyd DeYoung, he did in his presentation about that. He did something about the KKK and how they're burning crosses, and he's like, exactly what I'm saying. Hello, people. They're burning crosses. How does that make them Christian? Hello.
Exactly. Whoever
yeah.
whoever kill or do this kind of things, he's not a Christian. Whoever
But not-
steals is not a Christian. Whoever does not whatever not that Jesus did or ask us to do, he's not a Christian. So even if he was written on his ID card or passport as a Christian, he's not a Christian. He should do what Jesus asked us to do.
Amen. And so, yeah, but naturally, mass media portrays the exact opposite of the truth, and nothing but, and all the time, relentlessly, nonstop. So about a minute later, you see, so these guys are in blackface, long story short, and they're oil and all that, and they're mad because this guy is hanging out, a white guy is hanging out with a Native American Indian. At the 2 hour marker. Okay, so basically she goes, do you have any idea who might want to harm you? And that's the priest asking her. And of course, it's the whites. Throughout the movie, it's the white men, the Christian men, the Freemason men, the KKK men. I mean, they hit every stereotype, every slander.
Maybe she meant an albino guy in the area.
I mean, I don't know. Okay. So that's the other thing. As far as the KKK, by the way, they didn't only hunt non-whites. They hunted whites too, including Greeks. So, let's put that to rest too. But they're definitely not Christian.
No, they are not Christian. Like Muslims, they used to blame Adolf Hitler like he's a Christian. He was killing. He was doing like that. While they were fighting the fight of Adolf Hitler, they had Muslim section in Adolf Hitler's army, and they were fighting and killing the Jews, including Christian though. But the propaganda is saying only Jews.
Exactly, and I'm glad you said that. And I'm going back to what you're saying earlier. I want to include that again. I'm not trying to be misogynist. I'm not trying to attack women. I'm not trying to say which is better, men or women. I'm addressing the propaganda that is designed to hunt the white Christian man, ultimately Jesus and his follower, Christians. And that's why we use the rhetoric European these days, so we can all pile them up as if Russians aren't or Caucasians, people of the Caucasus regions aren't white. And all. I mean, I could go on and on about this, but it's a massive, relentless propaganda designed to get you to want to kill the white Christian man. And that's what we're seeing enacted right now, like the Lakewood shooting, the Tennessee shooting, and all that. this is not propaganda anymore. It's now implementation phase.
This is what we see on X or on Facebook, or somebody passing in underground and simply slapping or beating or killing a white man or a girl,
Yeah.
or in the underground or on a bus or anywhere. They
Yeah.
simply just implying it now, doing it on the ground.
And
Just outrage.
thank you. Thank you for that too. And be warned, people, that stuff is just there to trigger you, to make you upset. Don't buy into it. Don't react. Don't get angry at the black man or the woman or, the Palestinian or whatever dichotomy they come up with, that they come up with all the time. It's all a trap. Stay focused on Christ. Pray
Exactly.
unceasingly.
We are as a Christian, we have no hate in our hearts. We have no free man, no slave, no woman, no man, no one, no difference. We are all one in Jesus Christ. So we don't hate anyone. We love everyone.
Amen.
At the same time, we don't say that we don't defend ourselves.
Exactly.
Well, if somebody coming to attack us and beat us, kill us, do something to our family, we must defend ourselves. We must, if we are in the army, we must fight the fight.
Yeah.
That's it.
You lay down your life for the other. That's the greatest form of love.
Absolutely.
All right. So again, the point here, people, is I'm not attacking any group. I am attacking the messenger, the people, the Willie Lynch people that are trying to pit us against each other for everything that they can fabricate. Okay, that's who I'm trying to expose, and that's who I'm attacking. All right. So at the 3-hour marker, 3 hour 1 minute, 3-hour marker.
Long movie.
Sorry. Yeah. It was, I hate to admit it, it was very good. The production value was very, very good. I actually watched this movie in 2 sittings, an hour and a half each. So that's like 2 full movies for me. And I watched it all the way through each time. So
Yeah.
I don't usually do that, just so you know. So production value is very good, but obviously another disgusting propaganda piece. So yeah, again, we see the child dies. I mean, now the husband's in trouble. And we see, I mean, there's different sequences. Maybe I should have took more screenshots so you can see it better. But there's one framing where there's a cross right behind him. I can't remember what other scenes, but they put the evil people right framed in with the cross. Again, that's Pavlovian. And then this pan view is a bad incident of the child dying and all these crosses. Now you're saying, okay, well, it's a cemetery. Of course, crosses. This is a gimmick that Hollywood uses regularly, and it's one they can get away with. But you go to cemeteries, and crosses are not that common. But regardless whether crosses are common or not, we're still talking about the framing. We're talking about setting your cameras up, shooting, getting everything right. They made sure that these crosses were in there at these angles. Rules of thirds here. So, and then again, with the close-ups, putting the cross next to or behind or center point with the villain. And the movie ends with a celebration of pagan when they're beating the drums, and now there's a circle, and like the Kaaba, they're going around counterclockwise. And yeah, it's panning out. And then the circle thing is also a pagan thing, the circle of life. The science, by the way, get off on a quick tangent. This thing that they pushed in science about the life cycle is absolute poppycock. I mean, using the example I have to use as a teacher all the time, the caterpillar, right? The butterfly. The butterfly lays the eggs, and the legs becomes a pupa, a larva, and that becomes a butterfly, and the butterfly lays eggs, and therefore it's a cycle. It's circular. No, it's not a circle. That's an S. You got one butterfly that lays the eggs becomes another butterfly. That butterfly lays eggs and dies. There's no circle there. Okay. So that's actually pagan. And that's my argument. You call me crazy if you want, but I'm telling you, they're pushing this paganism subtly and absurd, quote unquote, scientific theories as if they're law, which are inaccurate. They're false. I mean, I'm sorry I went for that tangent, but I had to put that out there with that opportunity. Okay, so that's pretty much the conclusion. Let me just do a shilling moment. Forgive me. If you don't mind, I kind of spoke with this last week about this again. I was a bit frazzled and interrupted, so I didn't get to finish properly. And I've been talking to Amir about this for a while now. I've been going back and forth about whether I was going to do this, but things have come to a head. Like last week, as Amir mentioned, I sent out an SOS early in the week. We had like this crazy storm locally. My home personally, I had water like falling crazy all over the place, and I almost had an electrical fire. Had I not heard the click, 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 and saw the water going on the electrical stuff, and did something about it before the power came back on, which was hours later. I could have had electric fire in here. In fact, later that day, the following day, I did have electrical issues. My power was failing and it cut off because of some kind of fizzing out. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, people. If you could just see how I'm living, I know I've got a computer and all that. How can it be? But to put in perspective, again, forgive me for ringing my own bell here, but I'm doing it for a reason because I am that desperate. And this is difficult for me to do. I'm having to swallow my pride as a man to do this. But I'm asking for your support, not so you can fix my house, but I do want to at least keep this ministry going. I feel like if I could at least keep this ministry going, I can, personally, I can, even though I'm living below poverty level, if you can see how I'm living, you would understand.
Did you create GoFund like last time you said?
Yeah, I didn't see. Thank you. And I'm ashamed to admit, no, I didn't, because I feel this guilty and stupid about doing this right now. But the GoFundMe is for my personal thing, and I will do that, and I'll probably add it, somewhere.
Yeah.
But
so just create it, and we will post it, brother.
Thank you, Amir. But the other thing I really want help, and for those of you, again, let me make it clear. I understand, as we were talking with Dragon last week, I do understand everyone's suffering. Believe me, when I saw it going down, I was trying myself to warn people ahead of time. People, they're intentionally killing the economy of Christians. Okay, they were getting us to quit. These people online were saying, "Oh yeah, protest, quit your job." What are you talking about? But anyway, again, forgive me for the tangent. My point is, I understand. I'm not, forgive me for sounding like I'm psychic or something. I'm not. I just understand media by now. And so I understood. I saw where they were taking us, and I've watched this stuff transpire. I mean, my own family. I mean, anyway, enough of that. The point is, I understand it. So I'm trying to say that I don't want you to give me money if you actually cannot afford it. I had a couple people. I had one person who says, "You know what? I don't have money this month. I've got like $60 I could give you." Like, oh my God, don't do that, people. But if you have extra money, it just so happens, and you want to support what they say, this ministry, this thing that literally I'm trying to demonstrate that I'm dedicating my life to, regardless of what's happening personally. I really believe in this cause, and there's not many people doing what I'm doing in the way that I'm doing it. And thank God, thank you again, Amir, for giving me a voice with a larger audience, that I can reach more people and have people understand, I mean, you don't understand how difficult this has been a struggle for me for years now. I shouldn't drop too many names, but other people are privy to what I've been going through. Prayers last year around this time helped. It put me in this situation, even though it doesn't sound great. It's actually better than the last situation I was in. But I've literally decided to commit my life to this cause because I believe in it. I think it's important. Like I said, not many people are doing it, so I want to keep pushing forward. So I've created a I forget what you call it. It starts with a P. Patronage. Patreon. Thank you.
Do you have the link?
Yeah, I've got it in a description. I've got it in the video last week. I didn't between the back and forth, I forgot to mention it last week that I got the Patreon. So again, only if you have extra money. Please support the Patreon if you can, so I can at least keep this going. And I feel confident that even though I've got all these things going on, and Amir's got privy to some other things going on, I feel like one way or another, if I can get my stuff together, I'll get through it. But I will, if someone's rich out there and wants to help me with my personal issues, I'll go ahead and create the other thing for that too, the GoFundMe. But that's me. Yeah,
That's good.
thank you.
I hope as well all our brothers and sisters will pray for you. Please, guys, pray for our brother
Thank you.
and for his for the Lord to help him and be with him, and for all the problem he had lately, it wasn't good for
It,
him,
it's disgusting. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but it's really bad.
and to find
Um,
a good job and wife. We need wife for
uh,
him.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm fit for a wife, or I don't know if she can put up
We
with me, but
we need a Christian wife for you.
yeah,
So
amen. So one to
so
set me
hopefully
straight.
so hopefully we need that for you.
Thank you.
Uh, in here, I think we end it. Yeah,
Yeah, let me say just one quick thing. It's another
go
pitch, and
go
I'll
ahead.
probably create like I think it's called a Kickstarter, something I heard before. After watching this movie, I've got inspired for this other written project that I did. I created a comic book series in 2017. It's about the Native American theme, but it's really, as you can see, it's about addressing the paganism and illustrating it the way it needs to be illustrated instead of the way Hollywood's illustrating it, showing that, hey, you know what, this is wrong, and trying to snap people out of that, and also embed things that are reality checks, like I'm doing here in these live streams, like addressing these mass media talking points. So I was for years on the edge about doing that. I even approached Frank Miller about doing it. He was allegedly the conservative of comics, but that didn't go too well. And actually, I mean, he actually had me chased off, escorted off by security by the end of it. Not that I was a threat, but it turned out I didn't realize how important this guy was, let's say. But anyway, regardless, yeah, he died a couple of years later. That didn't work out. I mean, I've been, long story short, I've been doing a lot of things, but I really believe in this project. I think it's a good vehicle to reach audiences that are completely invested in pagan culture, the lost sheep, to kind of lure them in with the stuff that they like, and then inject and put the writing on the wall for them so they can see reality. So I'm going to do a Kickstarter for that if that's something, or if you know an artist that's willing to work with me, that's even better. So I'm just wanted to put that out there. Okay, I'm done. Thank you, Amir. Thank you. God
Wow.
bless you. Yeah.
Thank you. You did a great episode today. Wonderful. Thank you very much for all your effort, and God bless you, and be with you at all time. And here we end it up. We'll end it up by a little prayer. بسم الآب والابن والروح القدس الإله الواحد آمين. أبانا الذي في السماوات ليتقدس اسمك، ليأتي ملكوتك، لتكن مشيئتك كما في السماء كذلك على الأرض. خبزنا الجوهر أعطنا اليوم، واترك لنا ما علينا كما نحن نترك لمن لنا عليه، ولا تدخلنا في التجربة لكن نجنا من الشرير آمين. لأن لك الملك والقدرة والمجد أيها الآب والابن والروح القدس الإله الواحد آمين. يا رب بارك يا رب بس يا رب بارك أخوتنا وأخواتنا، وكن معهم في كل حين. كن معهم وخلصهم من كل مرض وحزن وألم. بارك عائلاتهم وكن معهم وأعطيهم الخبز الأرضي وخبز السماوي. يا رب بارك حياتهم وبارك كل من في بيوتهم، أبائهم وأمهاتهم وعائلاتهم جميعا. يا رب نجنا من كل شر وضيق. يا رب كن معنا في كل حين. يا رب اشفي أمراضنا. يا رب هناك الكثيرين من الإخوة والأخوات مرضى بأمراض مستعصية. نجهم وباركهم. أنت شفيت المخلع وأحييت العاذر. مد يدك اليمنى عليهم واشفهم يا رب. ونشكرك يا رب على كل شيء، باسم الآب والابن والروح القدس الإله الواحد آمين. Our Father who art in heaven. Actually, let Brother Nicodemus pray. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Please give us our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Allow us not to fall into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, and in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, both now and never to the ages of ages. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, Amir. And
Thank you.
I put that Patreon in the chat, so you can add it in the description. I
Wonderful.
appreciate it.
I will add it to the three of them.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. And again,
Thank-
forgive me for asking, but thank you very much. Thank you for everything.
No worries, no worries. Brothers and sisters, please press on the Patreon link and help our brother if you can. If you cannot, your prayer will be appreciated.
Amen.
Thank you very much for everything. We'll leave you in the blessing of the Lord Jesus Christ, and God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Please subscribe to my channels, press like and the bell to receive all my new videos. Leave your comments below, opinions, or questions. Follow me to know what is next, or in case they close this channel. Hashtag Amir Zaidain YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@AmirZaidain.
Thank you very much. Jesus Christ be with you.